Yes.
Okay, so yeah, hello, my name is Karl. I'm one of the developers at RACEMAP, and I was asked to make today a little bit, something for beginners, something for the meteor user, and make a little bit outlook and show some of our now features. So I will start with tracker management and make a really basic introduction. So for the people that never used the tracker management before, then I go to advanced feature of our system, message templates, and yeah, at least then features and Outlook. So let us start with the tracker management. This is the tracker management. You saw it before. And to explain to you, our tracker management has some components that you can use. In the middle part of the management are the trackers. On the left side, you found filters you can use to reduce the number of trackers for search, for example. And on the right side are information for one special tracker. And the middle part is also divided in a part where you show only filter trackers. In the top part, you see selector trackers. So what does this mean? We have an idea how the flow is if you work with trackers. Usually you start with reduce the number of trackers. So if you search for some trackers, you can use the filters for that. Alternative, you can use a search bar if you search for a single tracker or you know a name, for example. And then you have a smaller number of trackers. You go then through this small number of trackers, select single devices, and move these devices with one button up to the upper part. Then you go through single tracker, check single information, and then you can start to send messages to the trackers or change the ownership, something like this. This is all in the top right buttons. And at least you clear the selection and the process starts again. So, but yeah, I can talk a lot here, but I think the best is I show it live. So I have here 5 trackers, and I want to update the firmware of these 5 trackers together with you. So let us start. At first, I start the trackers with our on-off tool. I don't know if you see this before. I have made a bunch of that, and if you want, you can get one for free today. It makes the starting of the tracker far more easier. So. Yeah, one don't want, and you are out. So now the next challenge is how can I find my trackers? And so one thing is you can use the filter part here in the side. For example, you can filter out only trackers that are connected. And as you can see, now the first one come online, the 1643, that is this one. Another option is, like I told, you can use a search bar. For example, if I search the A1676, and then I have to remove the filter, and yeah, here is it. And now he comes online. So you can see it's easy to find a small number of trackers. But what if you have 100 trackers and you want to move these trackers in your selection to send a command, for example? Tanvir showed you the Orga app, and the Orga app has another function. So let me share my screen so that you can see it. And now I switch to the Orga app. He showed you the connection part, and now I want to show you the companion part. And for the companion part, that's a problem. I can't show both at the same time. Okay, so I explain you. I can now connect my tracker app with my tracker management. And for this, I have to open the scan view session. Then I have to switch back, and I choose here, that's gone, yes, we don't need this. Start a new session. I see a QR code, and I scan the QR code with my app, and now you can see my phone is directly connected with the tracker management. And then I start and take the tracker. Sorry, small. Okay, now I take a tracker, I scan the tracker, I get a feedback. Same here. No? This is already in the selection, the tracker. And I also can scan trackers that are not connected because they are off. So now I have the 5 trackers in my selection, and I want to update the firmware. For that, I can go to the right side, choose send message to trackers, and then I have the option to choose difference command I can send to the tracker. For example, I want to upgrade the firmware. So start a firmware update. I then ask for some parameters I can to change. For example, I want that the tracker tries 3 times to download the new firmware. And here in the button, there is already the latest firmware prepared for me. So I only push on this button, and I see 5 messages are sent successfully. As Mikael showed you, you can here add a new column where I see the pending devices, and after some time, yeah, now the messages are sent to our trackers. Yeah, now the tracker needs some time. I can add the firmware column here, and I see maybe during the next minutes we will see that this information change. So this is the first part. So are any questions to the tracker management? Okay, it was easy enough, I think. Then we can go to the next step, a little bit higher level. Message templates. What are message templates? As you see before, I sent message to the trackers, and we have prepared a lot of messages. The most of the messages are prepared for the Quackling devices, the GL300, because this is the devices we use a lot. And this, for the most cases, is totally fine if you work with trackers. But sometimes you have a special command you want to use, we don't edit this before, or you want to use a command without to change the parameters always, because it's a command you always set this parameter with this value. So you have the option to create your own messages based on a template. And for that, you have to go to the message templates, and then you have this list. On the button part are public templates that are templates we made for you, or another user shared this information with you. And you can take these templates and make a duplicate of that if you want to make it special or change some information in it. Then it becomes your template in the top part. They are the templates you made. And we have 2 types of message template at this moment. We call the one single templates, that are templates made for a special kind of tracker, where you can see you give the template a name, you can here define the variant, description, and then really important is that you say this template works only with some kind of trackers. Yeah, then you can make templates visible for everyone if you make it public. If not, it's only private. And you can define which people can use this template. For example, there are some messages we don't want that the borrower use them, for example, if they change passwords also. So you can control which people can use this message template, and if not, they never see this message type.
Can I ask a question? At this point, I think that regular users are only allowed to create private messages?
Oh yeah, it's possible.
Because let's say shared access features are only admin features.
At this moment, this is right. Yeah, correct. The idea is at this moment, if we have the feeling something is very useful, we can make it public. But maybe in the future, this change. Yeah, but at the current moment, only we can make things public. Yeah, and then here in the bottom part, this is an important part. There is a template, so it's a message, but you can make fields in this message that are replaced during the sending process. But I will show this later. And then here in the button part, you have an example request if you want to use this directly without our front end. Here you can see how this should be happen. Yeah, and in the end, here in the back button part are different actions like duplicate, save, and other things. This is the other big template variant we have. If you have multiple templates for different trackers and you want to combine them to one because all of them change the same information in the tracker, you can group them so that in the end, if you want to send a message, you get only one list of parameters you change, and all your trackers, it's not depending what type of tracker they are, get a message that fits to the different kind of tracker.
This is like a kind of normalization. You can select different type of devices, send the same command, and the system translate it according to the required format of this specific device type.
That's correct. Yeah, for example, some of the GL devices have different commands based on the version of the GL. And yeah, there you can normalize this. Yes, and here you find this different templates. You can add then more if you have more templates. But here you can only use single templates. So, but maybe we make this in practice, and I want to add with you a new command. And for now, it should be, there's a command for Quacklinks where you can trigger the vibration motor of the device from the per message. And I will to add now this message with you together, and then we send this message, and yeah. So buckle off. So for now, I go to message templates. And I add a new type. And we call it.
A quick question.
Yeah.
As I'm really new to this tracker wall thing, like I, use them to be in the work. Can you give us an example of messages that you can send other than updating firmware? Like, what would you send the tracker?
For example, if you want to change the interval,
the refresh, okay.
the tracking interval are such thing, or you can request information from the tracker, say, send me your current location. Sometimes.
Force it.
Yeah, to forces.
Okay.
For example, if you have really big intervals, you can make steps between.
Okay.
Or you request information like settings. So as there are a lot of commands you can send to the device to control them.
Each parameter which can be changed is due to a message like activate non-movement detection or disable power button or activate SOS button.
Okay.
Each is a message.
So I have a use case for you. The sequence of lights vibration when you turn on and off is incomprehensible for a normal human being. Like I've been on the phone with guys and say, press this button. Oh, it vibrates, it lights up, so it must be turning on, although it's turning off.
Yeah.
So do you have control over that? So that there is a clear sequence of this is what's happening when it turns off, this is what's happening when it turns on.
Yeah.
Because otherwise it's just a nightmare. Debugging this with guys that are in the sun, it's like, forget it.
Yeah, I know this problem, but unfortunately we have not so much control. You only can decide if you can switch the LEDs completely off. This is possible, or you can control it.
You can start.
A good start.
At least if you switch it off, nothing lights up. No?
You can switch completely on or off. You can switch off the LED. It's not you are not able to disable the LED when
Oh, you can switch
turning
them off
off
totally.
is working. Yeah.
But do you have a way to define a sequence that people will understand?
I already ask you a lot of time to get link to the dev. The biggest problem is the device need between a few seconds to up to is there a timeout of 120 seconds to turn off completely the devices? Because when you press the stop the power button, the wait to push this current state to the server and wait the hack. And the timeout if the device is not connected currently. So, and they won't absolutely keep the LED on because if I stop the LED when I push off the button, you will not able to turn on again the device up to the 120 seconds. So you can keep the device with all the LED off.
Okay, so can you make it
They are not-
vibrate when it turns on and not vibrate when it turns off? Do you have control over that?
No more.
So at least the guy that's got the thing goes, oh, it vibrated. So you see what I mean? Like,
I'm not 100% sure how much we can control the vibration
it's
mode.
very,
Huh?
it's just so complicated to explain to someone.
Yeah.
It's turning off.
I think the best way is to remove the possibility to use the power off button. So the device stay on always.
Yeah.
Because most of the time when you start to have
Participant play.
trouble with devices, it started with the user trying to turn on or turn off, and at the end they don't know the state.
Yeah, no, exactly.
The first point is you don't touch the device.
Maybe.
Yeah. That's maybe that's the best solution to turn the power button completely off. Okay. Yeah. Yeah. So now I have prepared for you. There was the view before you saw. This is a message I want to send, and now I added this. And what I can do, for example, I can replace here information in this message template. For example, here I want to change the duration of the vibration, and I can now use here multiple types of variables. One thing are parameters. Parameters are in the control of the sender. So if you want to send a message, you see a list of parameters and you can change these parameters. So you can change the resulting message every time. Other things are you can here say it's a fixed value, then this value is always used. If you don't want to fix it now, so maybe you change it in 1 month or so, but for now you want to set here a number. But it's not in the control of the sender. And the last things are prepared variables. That are information our system can inject during the sending process. Things like the message count, the password of the tracker, the name of the tracker, something like this. But in this case, we want to make it to a parameter. It should be a number. Then we can say, okay, it's minimum 1,000, maximum is 2,000. And we can make it, for example, optional and say it's on default 1,000. So, and if you want, you can make a description. Duration of the vibration. So, the other thing, also, for example, that's really important for GL300 devices is the message ID. In this case, it's a variable, and for GL300, this is the message count hex. This is the information we add, in this case, on every message, and our system can, in the end, find out this message received or was sent to the device because the device sent us the message ID back. So if you want create a message kind that we can confirm, where we can confirm the delivery, this is the important information we have to add. So, and then I add this. Now I have created a new message template. And I switch back to our tracker management. And now I send a message to the trackers again. In this case, our custom vibration motor. Now here, 1000 is prepared, but we change this now to 2000. So, and if everything works like expected,
Yeah.
yeah. Okay. Another option we have, now you see here is an example. Now we want to send a message not with our tracker management. We want to make our own stuff. We have an application and we want to send a message directly.
Is this like similar what Michael does through his dashboard, updating the configuration?
Yes, correct.
Okay.
Michael
Is using like an application, a third-party application, using a message API.
yes. And for you, as an easy start, we have here in the bottom an example that you can use for your first test. So I copy this. I go in my apply. Then I have to remove the user password because I don't want to show this to all of you. I change here the duration to, hope this works. And then the last thing, I have to figure out the tracker ID. So I go back to my tracker management. I choose here now this tracker, put this information in, and now hopefully everything works like expected. And we got a success message. So
what have you done now?
now I send the message directly to our backend, and you can hear it receives the tracker receives the message. So if you want to make this with your own application, you only have to send a HTTP request to this address with this information. Okay, I hope this was not too much.
Maybe describe some advantages.
The advantages you can, for example, if you use, I think Tomislav uses, he has some kind of software that register if a starter finished the line from race result. Or Michael, you also do it?
So with Stefan, for example, on long distance cycling, you can put the refresh rate at the beginning at one location each 5 minutes. As Tomislav, you can use it for some specific to change to modify the refresh rate. For example, 30 kilometers before the finish, I will receive a virtual detection using your time API to say, okay, this guy, it left only 30 kilometers. Okay, his battery level is quite enough to switch the refresh rate at, for example, 30 seconds, and we switch the refresh rate directly using your API to do that. Or Tomislav uses also to turn off the device using REST result exchange. Okay, I get the detection of the finish line, so I can turn off the devices. Yeah, it's very smart to use your API for that. It's very useful.
So question, use case again. Does that mean that with this API in our control system, sometimes what happens is we haven't seen the tracker. We're on monitor, SafeMap. The tracker hasn't reported location for 30 minutes. We want to force the the device to tell us where it is. Obviously, we don't because we're not technical enough to go into this. I don't want to wake up Michael in the middle of the night. Could I have a button in our tool that triggers that call?
That would be possible, yeah.
Yeah?
Yeah.
Nice. Very nice.
Okay.
Mm-hmm.
So, further questions? Okay. Then,
So, Karl, just a question for me. I don't know if it's interesting for the audience, but there was this export button in the top of the message templates. Why you made it? What? Because it's the database base in print. What do you do with this?
it's a JSON so it's possible to store this information and to upload it again. For example, if you want to share this with a colleague, or it's a debugging tool for us because we have multiple platforms. So if I want to use it in my local development, but yeah, it's I think not the casual feature.
Okay, but I never found the place to upload it again.
Oh, okay. I think you can drop it.
Okay, that's okay.
That's our hidden feature. You can drop a lot if you find out. Okay. Then we come to the third part, Outlook. We have a new feature. We now integrate network information more in our system. So especially if you use SIM cards from our distributor, you get much more information, like which cell use my tracker, how much, where is the location of the cell. We have a chart, a debugging chart. If you add the chart in the debug, you add a special column to the tracker management, then you can access a debug chart where you get informations from the tracker, like battery over time, receiving times over time. So what was the delay of messages during an event? And for now it's not so good to see, but here you can see how much your tracker changed cells during the race and how much this affects your battery drain, for example.
Maybe you can open one chart.
Yeah, I don't know if I find a good one, but I can try. So for example, our devices.
Can you access the chart?
Yeah. This is one of our devices, as you can see. No. And at this moment, it's connected with a Vodafone cell. And if you go to the chart, it's now quite fresh. Yeah. Unfortunately, you only see this information if you have a fix. So because the tracker sends the cell information with the location report, and the trackers are here, not in a place where they can receive this information. But if somebody is interested, I can show this after the presentation. Yeah, so this is one of the new features I can show you now. And here you can see it a little bit better, how the switches are made. And if you have questions, we can now.
Can you explain the information which are now displayed under the brown line?
This is a radio type. So, for example, GSM, UMT, LTS, LTE, and so on. And under this is some kind of identification of the cell. So the MCC is a country code. So from this information, you can see in which country your SIM card is registered. The MNC is a network code. This is something like Vodafone, T-Mobile, and so on. The LAC is the location area code. So this is the area where the cell is located, and the cell ID is the final ID of the cell. So with these 4 numbers, you can identify every cell on this planet.
Yeah. And you have enabled our system to systematically store
This information.
this information. That means for the next Race Across series is if Michael is using our SIM cards, you will see as the devices are moving exactly the change of the connectivity during the race, which in our mind helps you to debug if reception is a problem. Yeah.
We just say the same 30 seconds before you.
And now I say it loud for everyone. It's not
You'll see
the
in
secret.
secret we have some very basic information to help us debug what's happening, but it's really just a flag, GSM, GPS,
Yeah.
and based on that, we're trained to go with it.
Yeah.
You know, but
And yeah, and I don't know if this is a use case. I think, or possible, showing the let's call it connection chart in the safe map also is like an additional information to debug if things are not expected.
I think it's quite interesting to add this information in the tracker page in the small map on the top right.
Yeah.
If to say, okay, maybe I lost the GPS fix, but I know exactly which cell ID is used, so this cell ID is here. So I know that the guys is around maybe 5 kilometers. Maybe in the safe map, it could be possible if we lost the GPS fix for 30 minutes or 1 hour to say, okay, we don't know where is the guys, but we know that this cell ID is here. Because this information, it's cool to have this, you need to have this raw data, but it's complicated to exploit, to use this, the antenna code, and because you don't know the location of this code, and but as you propose already to the small map on the tracker page, it's quite interesting to say, okay, I know is this area, not exactly, but here.
So yeah, Jabo, I hope you were listening because this helps you, Jabo. This connectivity helps you if you have problems with reception in Jordan.
Yeah, sometimes.
Yeah,
Yeah, sometimes I.
there you have more insights of what's going on. This provides you better information.
Yeah.
Good.
Is there any way to what action then I can do if I know that I have problems with connection?
For example, you can blacklist a specific carrier. If you're facing that carrier is blocking data transfer, then you can tell the device not to use this specific carrier.
Yeah. Another thing we discussed, it's a little bit like you suggested in the safe map, that we show for our SIM cards we can say what cells we can access in a region, and so it could be possible that we show you make your track, and then we show you all cells in a region with their range. And then you see, okay, there is a part of my track where no cell covers this space. And yeah, you can say, okay, then we have a small blackout, or you change the track to places where you have the coverage. This is one option. Or you add it to the safe map to know, okay, there is a place we have no coverage. So it's okay that the starters are not reachable for a half hour or so. But you are prepared.
Then
Yeah.
we have nobody has then impact on this.
Yeah.
And we learned this in the last weekend. Sometimes the organizers have really trouble because the customer does not understand why the data is now missing. And if they can prepare, they would have prepared them, okay, we have this race there, and maybe for this 10 kilometers we will not have any coverage. If they would have known this before, they would have been less trouble. Because the people expect the technology to work everywhere.
on our races, we have similar situations where the first few guys go through a zone, we lose them for 30 minutes. We have a note in our system that tells the guys that have come on board to the security team, okay, don't worry, those 30K, we know you're not going to see anything, so don't bother.
Yeah.
But it's, yeah,
I don't know, but maybe sometimes it's good to know it before.
Yeah.
Somehow. Yeah.
definitely.
I have a question related to the network, covering the network. So sometime during the competition, they have mounting and the tree and GPS disconnected.
mounting on a tree.
Yeah. Covering area, there is no network. For example, 5 kilo or 4 kilo, there is no network.
Yeah.
And after they get the signal, get the network.
Yes.
So the GPS, it's sending data from current time or last 5 kilo, which
Our tracker buffers them, the locations and sends them back if they get a connection.
So it's stored on memory, and then when reception is there again, it will send. It will take maybe some minutes, but data from memory will be sent with some delay then.
okay.
So for replay, you have more data as for live. Yeah.
Yes.
Okay. So,
One additional question, Karl. The logistic part into the tracker manager. How do you use this out of stock, in stock? What is I never use it.
yeah.
I don't know if you what is the settings to use it and.
We implemented this long before with the idea that you can keep track of the locations of your tracker. So for example, if you send them out, you put them to out of stock, and if they come back, you can put them in stock, and we use this for one event to find out which tracker are not come back. So every tracker comes in, are marked as in stock, and in the end we have 5 trackers that are not in stock. So it was a little bit easier to find the missing ones in this case.
The idea was, the initial idea of this, it's similar to a label, which we use with different colors. Team at finish line, scanning, coming back trackers, giving them the in-stock label, and after the race, you know, let's say with 1 click or 2 clicks, which devices are missing.
With the same app than Thunder or no?
Yeah. But it's still not. We learned much like Bluetooth connection and so on. There, it's let's say the idea is good, but it doesn't work properly in the real race ground. Yeah. So this was the intention.
Okay. Now lunch. So, welcome back. I hope everyone is satisfied from our lunch. I have the honor to welcome you back here and start with another improvement on our side. Sometimes there is a moment where you think, oh, RACEMAP don't work like expected, and we want you to give you the option to check it's really RACEMAP or another one that makes this problem. So we have now a status page. You can check it out with a QR code that leads to our status page. There you see which of our services works in this moment, and in the best case, everything is operational and green.
In the regular case.
No, 99% of the time. Yeah, so this is our target. Everything should be green, but maybe there's a case where it's not all green. Then we have this on. We get a message in this case, but yeah. So you are informed that the problem is on our side, and you can wait until it's fixed. Okay.
Maybe it's worth to mention that this is a little piece of, especially your efforts to make RACEMAP reliable due to the volume we have through our platform, and keep the development process agile. Yeah. So maybe you explain a little bit of what you have done over the last maybe 1.5 years to. I know there are no bullet points. Prepared, but it's worth to mention.
Yeah. Okay, I understand. So things that are a little bit leads to this point that we can show this information are that, for example, that a lot of our services now have entry points where we get the information if the service is running or is there an issue. Now we, for example, we overwatch our ports. So, for example, if you use a tracker, it's important that you know that all trackers are can reach the port of our system. So this is another thing we have implemented with this page. And I think one of the last big achievements with this page is that we now check if all of our certificates are valid and up to date. Yeah. So if one of our certificates are important for the communication with our page. So if the browser of a user tried to access our page, the communication is completely encrypted. And for this, it's important that our page has a valid and up-to-date certificate. And now we have this service checks if this is the case. So yeah. So there's a lot of things are.
Maybe worth to mention also the deploy and rollback.
Yeah.
Come on, so much effort you put on this.
Yeah, it's right. Yeah. No, we worked the deployment process a lot in the last time, but you shouldn't recognize this because, yeah, in the best case you don't recognize this.
In a regular case.
Yeah. And in the rare cases where something not work like expected, we have now the option to roll fast back to a working version of our system. So it should be, the cases where our system not work like expected should be really, really become rare. So.
And also, how many auto tests are running and checking?
Yeah, I think now it's around about 1,000 different tests that run on our system in a regular every hour. So yeah, but this is not. We have not 100% coverage. We work on this, but I think it's a step on the way.
Yeah. And the learning is if we notice error or failures or whatever, then we know which part of the system needs another test.
Yes.
So the number of tests, of course, are increasing. Yeah. What we want to achieve is at least learnings from issues and errors and prevent in future. And to put it in the frame is now the platform has reached a specific size, and now more of the development time is or goes into the reliability part of the platform. And the bigger the platform is growing, the more of the development work is just to keep it running. Yeah.
Keep it running.
To keep it running.
Safe and sound.
And it's always a balance for us as a team to keep reliability and to go on fast with improvements. Yeah.
Any questions to this? Okay.
Good. Thanks, Karl. This is something nobody noticed in regular, but a lot of working time is this. Yeah. This is not a new feature. This is just to get every service screen all the time.